While most editing projects utilize the same set of technical and creative tools, there are also some clear distinctions that make every type of video a little bit different than the rest. Now, I'm so excited about this part of the course because in the next few videos, we're going to be creating 3 completely different types of videos using the exact same batch of footage we shot here recently. And from that footage, we're going to craft a 60-second fashion video, a tour visuals loop, and a 20-second commercial, all utilizing different techniques and creative approaches. But in this video, I want to start with more of a bird's eye view of a few of the different styles or genres of videos that you may get to work on in your career as an editor. Each genre that we look at in this video is going to get a rating analyzing information, story, vanity or beauty, mystery, and design. And we'll also look at the arc of the dynamics of each type of video, showing the important moments and timings to consider within each style. But without further ado, let's dive into our first breakdown. Let's first take a look at the genre of music videos. Of course, every music video is as different as the music itself, but generally speaking, the main priority of a music video is to show off the artist. This means that vanity may play a really big role, especially in pop videos. It is all about the artist, what they look like, what they're wearing, how they're moving. And so in the edit, we're gonna see a good majority of our time spent with them on screen. Now, a lot of pop music videos use the formula of combining both performance, which is a vanity element, with narrative inserts throughout the video. So depending on the vision for the video, story may play a big role here, with narrative elements keeping you engaged throughout. In other music videos, you may have more of a combo of vanity with mystery or design, dropping the story element altogether and instead having more abstract elements or visuals that are really just striking to look at and more sort of aesthetically driven overall. Regarding the arc of the project, we're always looking for a captivating hook up front, something that draws you in, whether it's a long, mysterious intro shot or something a little bit more flashy and fun. And then usually within that 3 to 4 minute song, we're often looking for some sort of twist or new layer to keep our attention around the halfway or the second verse mark. The music is always going to be driving those dynamics, but it never hurts to help it out and sort of create some sort of interest at that halfway point. All right, flipping almost 180 degrees here, let's take a look at documentary style videos. Now, keep in mind that documentary can cover everything from, a murder mystery TV show to a Mr. Beast viral YouTube video. But the common denominator of this genre is that information is king. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And speaking of ugly, our vanity rating pretty much drops to 0 here because it's so rarely important. As a documentary editor, often the more rough around the edges, the better, giving the audience a peek into the unfiltered reality of what's going on. Sometimes it's the shaky camera or the sort of off-camera moments that really sell the story. So don't be afraid to let things feel a little less polished in this genre. Regarding information, it's also super important to consider when you reveal things because mystery can play such a massively important role in a successful documentary style video. In a murder mystery documentary, it's often the not knowing what happened that keeps you hooked. In fact, some of the most engaging documentary projects never give you an answer. Rather, they present you with all of the information and leave you with a question. For the arc of any documentary, there's always going to be a captivating hook up front, and then usually it's a pretty straightforward unraveling of information as things move along. The major differences lie in the endings. Whether you're working on a standalone piece or something more episodic like a TV show, you may decide whether to conclude things towards the end or introduce even more mystery and ramp things up to create a hook for the next episode. Think of a documentary style project like a puzzle. Start by building the outside, the frame, in the first few moments, and then gradually put the pieces into place to reveal the rest of the picture. For our third style of video, let's look at something like a 30-second ad or commercial. In this format, the key priorities you're balancing here are information and design. In the context of an Instagram ad, for example, you're working with a platform that's all about aesthetic. So the way your ad looks even from the very first frame is going to be massively important, as an audience member may decide whether or not to keep watching based on the length of a single swipe of their thumb. But once you've got their attention, the aim is to sell them on the key sales points, the information that will drive their purchase. Unlike in TV or a movie, most audience members will be watching with the sound off, so it's going to be important to communicate visually through text as much as possible. Even if the information is being driven verbally, you can always support with text to increase the overall success of the video. In this type of project, you have 3 seconds or less to create a captivating hook. In the case of this ad for my CRT Textures pack, this video is flashy and grabs your attention, but then it holds your attention with a visual that really stands out in the context of Instagram. Then we get into this montage of information-based moments, but they're designed well, which says just as much about the product we're selling as the content itself. Finally, we ramp up the energy towards the end of the cut, speed up the pace in the visuals, and ultimately end with a bit of a cliffhanger and a call to action to visit the website. Now on to tour visuals, the visuals that play on the LED screen behind the artist at a concert. Here our priority is almost entirely design. No information, not even vanity, that's being executed by the artists themselves. In this context, the video acts more as a part of the stage and the lighting design, all with the goal of drawing your attention to the artist. The video here is actually not the star, but rather more of a supporting element. And for that same reason, when we look at the arc of this style of project, because our goal is primarily to support and not distract, many of the most effective tour visuals will actually have a very flat arc, establishing a single look early on and not changing very much throughout playback. Again, if footage is involved, perhaps it will be treated in a looping format, or as a background element with typography and design drive. It will support or complement the lighting and let changes in lighting dictate the energy and the dynamics of the moment. Tour visuals are a completely different brain space, and more on that to come, but they are extremely fun. Finally, let's look at something more abstract like a fashion film, where there are almost no rules at all. You know, depending on the goal of the project, you may combine or sort of mix genres a little bit, incorporating some tour visual, commercial, or even documentary techniques or elements. But generally speaking, the goal of an abstract fashion film is really just to create a tone or a mood. It's purely aesthetic and leaning heavily on the mystery and vanity elements. The arc of this project may also be a little bit more flat than other genres, essentially giving you more of a peek into the vibe of the brand or the artist being represented, and it's most often, truly art for art's sake. Okay, so these are just a few brief overviews of a few of the styles of videos that you may get a chance to work on in your career as a video editor, and we've looked at a very wide sort of bird's eye view of each of them. Now, of course, rules are made to be broken, so my goal in talking about all this is to really create a big picture framework that you can reference as a starting point in any type of project. It's helped me grow so much when I start noticing the patterns in a project, so I hope that this helps you as well. But in the next video, we're going to dive into the edit and dive a little deeper into some of the practical ways that we can bring these genres to life. I can't wait to get started, so let's dive straight into it. Until the next one, happy editing. When you really begin to understand your creative power as a video editor, everything changes. You go from just having these great ingredients to really actually knowing how to combine them all into a memorable experience your audience will never forget. In Happy Editing, I want to dive a little deeper into the things that separate beginner editors from the pros. But no matter what your skill set looks like, you'll walk away with actionable steps to take your work to the next level. As a member of Happy Editing, you'll be able to master both technical and creative skills and stunning VFX that you can pull off without ever opening After Effects. Speaking of After Effects, you'll learn how to easily pull off all the tricks that every editor should know. None of the fluff, just the good stuff. You'll get exclusive access to digital samples like these, plus 50% off our entire store. And finally, you'll get access to our digital mentorship group, where editors from all around the world gather to share inspiration, ask questions, and get answers. Click the link to learn more, and until then, happy editing.